What's going on, spinning in Vegas? Okay, here I am back with an unfortunate video. I know a lot of you guys and girls were looking forward to this video. I was not looking forward to this video. I try to do everything in my power to avoid doing this video. Now, I know a lot of you are expecting this video a heck of a lot sooner. I was giving them the opportunity, the Cosmopolitan, the opportunity to kind of rectify things, you know, so instead of just jumping to conclusions and, you know, making a video right away, I thought I would give the property the benefit of the doubt and allow them, give them that chance to rectify things, to explain to somebody who's higher up what had happened to us during our stay and see if, you know, things could get rectified. And, well, we're just going to go through a list of some of the problems that we had at the Cosmopolitan. So as you can see from the title here, guys, the video is called The Reasons Why the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas Absolutely Fails, or failed during this trip anyway. I'm going to just state right clearly right now that our first two trips at the Cosmopolitan were smooth sailing, perfect stays. I really can't complain about much, or if anything at all, from the first two times we stayed. However, on this last stay, it was a nightmare. I don't understand how so many things could have went wrong at one stay at a hotel. Now, we stayed there for 7 days, and it was like living a nightmare. It really, really was. Everything just went wrong. And we are going to highlight some of the reasons why the Cosmopolitan failed during this trip. And these reasons are also going to be the de facto for why we will never return to the Cosmopolitan again. This is absolutely true. There's just too much competition on the Las Vegas, or even Las Vegas for that matter, to be treated like this at one property. If you get treated like this at one property, this stuff happens to you, damn it, take your business somewhere else, because you know what? So many people are doing everything they can to get you into the door and treat you like royalty to get your money, okay? Don't ever settle for a property that'll do this to you. Now again, I am not a spiteful person. I really don't enjoy doing this. I really, really, really don't. I gave the Cosmopolitan almost 2 weeks to rectify, to go back and forth. And I'm not a hard guy to please. I'm really, really not. I'm not a hateful person. I'm very easy to get along with. And, well, like I said, we're going to go through some things in this video together. So I'm just going to start off with saying I've never had more problems anywhere that I've stayed in my entire life than I've had here at this one stay in the Cosmopolitan. And number one, when we checked into the Cosmopolitan, we got a piece of paper stating that renovations were to be starting at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we may hear those renovations from our room on the 68th floor. We were completely fine with that. You know, me and my wife are usually up around 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock anyway, so it would have been just like a wake-up call for us. So we were like, yeah, that's perfectly fine. We're okay with that. We actually appreciate the wake-up call. So it was almost good news in a sense. However, the renovation started at 4:45 in the morning. Yes, that is absolutely correct. Starting at 4:45 every single morning, we could hear bang, 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 the sound of the drills, sound of the hammer, them chopping away at the floor. And guys, this was loud. No matter what we did, we could hear it. We'd called downstairs and we said, what's up with these noises? I mean, this is crazy. We expected 7 in the morning, not 4:45. And the girl to death said, we're going to have somebody come up and take a look and see if we can help you. So somebody come up, knocked at the door, and gave us earplugs. Earplugs! And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. This isn't going to work. Earplugs, you could, look, I'm half deaf anyway. I could still hear this. And I'm telling you, my wife put the earplugs in. She's like, no, it's not working. It was so loud. It was obviously in the room above us. And what I decided to do at that point later on in the day was I knocked on the neighbors' doors. And, well, I got responses from one person. And when I talked to him, he wasn't happy at all. He's like, oh my God, can you believe this? Thanks for the 3 hours of sleep, you fucking assholes. Like, he was pissed. And we went downstairs together. I thought that if we went down in numbers, we might be able to get something done, you know? Like, because the more people complaining, they might put a little bit more emphasis on the complaints themselves. And so what they decided to do for us, because remember, we're VIPs. We don't pay for any of our rooms. The deal was that when we were going to be there was we were going to get a room on the 68th floor for a majority of our stay at the Cosmo, overlooking the fountains, and then another 2 nights on a wraparound suite. We were supposed to have the wraparound suite for the 4th of July. And that was going to give us an entire view all the way high up on the 68th floor to see the fireworks everywhere. So on July 4th, homeowners light fireworks off, and you can see them for miles, and they don't stop. And you got to be high up though on the Cosmo to oversee, you know, all over the buildings. Like, you have to make sure you're high enough so you can see over the buildings. Like, you know, the Bellagio, the Caesars, all the other casinos, they're quite high. So you need to be high up at the Cosmo to see all these, you know, homes lighting off these fireworks. So that was the deal going in. 68th floor, Bellagio fountain view, with the exception of when we switched out for the wraparound suite, which was still on the 68th floor, but a better room. So when we told them about the renovations, they said, okay, what we can do for now is we're going to put you on a lower floor just for the next couple of days until they're done with that room above you. And then, you know, July 4th was coming up too. That's a national holiday. Nobody's going to be working, so we could go back up. You know, and after a couple of days, they were going to put us back up on the 68th floor. All was to be well. We were more than happy with that. We said, yep, that's not a problem. We could do this for 2 days, go down on the lower floor. Because with the Cosmo, the higher up you go, the little bit more expensive the rooms get. Okay? It's just a better view overall the higher up you go. So they are higher end rooms. Not higher end rooms. Rooms are exactly the same, but you pay a little bit more for that premium view. So after they put us down on the 51st floor. Now, the 51st floor, you lose much of that view. Believe it or not, those 17 floors make such a huge difference, and you will see that difference in my videos, my Las Vegas journey videos going forward. So we're on the 51st floor. They put us next door to the, it's okay. Okay, you're in Vegas, people party. That's absolutely expected. This party went on till 4:30 in the morning. It was screaming. They were, it sounded like they were fighting in the room, wrestling. They were banging up against the room. And guys, I've never heard such obnoxious partying in my life. I couldn't get over it. This wasn't July 4th either. This was leading up to July 4th, which is still a busy time in Vegas. So we'd call down on the front desk at, I think it was around 2:30 in the morning. And, you know, I said, look, we're on the 51st floor. This is our room number. We are next door to some of the biggest party animals ever. And we'd like it to stop. You know, we made it clear, like, you know, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, fine. But here we are at 2:30 in the morning. It's getting a little old. And they said, okay, we're going to have somebody go up and tell them right away not to make any more noise. As far as we know, nobody came up. We were kind of listening at the door to see if somebody would have knocked on their door. And that noise went on until 4:30 in the morning. And just kept us up the whole night. Now remember, this is coming off of hearing all those renovation noises the previous nights. So we're running on no sleep, very little sleep. You're talking maybe 2 hours a night. So, you know, we woke up the next morning and we said, okay, well, we'll wait. We'll see what happens tonight. Maybe we had a bad night. That next night, it was exactly the same, only they partied till 5:30 in the morning. Oh my gosh. And I called the front desk and I was livid. I said, if something doesn't happen, I'm checking out of this fucking bitch and I'm going somewhere else. I'm taking my money with me. Do something about this. The noise continued. I said, this is absolutely crazy. So we were going, you know, we were looking forward to going back up on the 68th floor because those renovation noises at 4:45 in the morning was nothing compared to the noises that we were dealing with from the party animals. And so we called the front desk and we said, you know, we'd like to get back up on the 68th floor, you know, regardless of the renovations. inconvenient as that may be. And they told us that there was nothing available and that there would be nothing available for the rest of our stay. And I said, well, what happened to our guaranteed room on the 68th floor? What happened to our wraparound suite that we were supposed to get? Sorry, sir, we can't do nothing for you. Well, fuck you too. Honest to God. Seriously, we were supposed to get that wraparound suite for the July. That was part of the deal. The deal was not the 51st floor. The deal was the 68th floor, room of the Bellagio, or sorry, view of the Bellagio fountains, with the 2 nights, or at least 1 night, with the wraparound suite on July 4th, so I could record. The Cosmopolitan knew that I posted stuff on YouTube, and it was good advertising for them. My first video about the Cosmopolitan got 50,000 views before I removed it. That's a lot of people. That is free advertising, and they fucked that up, okay? I was supposed to get the wraparound view because that was going to generate a lot of, you know, free advertising for them. It never happened. They left us in that 51st floor in that room with them noisy people for the next 3 nights, and it was completely chaos. And well, I could say just that alone ruined the trip. It absolutely ruined the trip. We never got 1 night of peace and quiet. In addition to that, I got a list here that I'm going through. The water pressure barely worked in the room. I don't know if that had something to do with the renovations that they were doing upstairs, if they were doing work to the plumbing. But guys, like, you're talking, turn the taps on full, both taps, and the water not making a sound coming out of the tap. Like, that's how low the pressure was. This was also evident with the shower. The shower barely dripped. When you flushed the toilet, it took forever for it to fill back up. The lock on the bathroom toilet door didn't work, so it would just freely swing open. Like, these things seem menial, but they all add up in the end. We tried to move as much as we could. We called the front desk every morning saying, we need to go, we need to move, we need to get out of this room. I even tried to check out early. I was going to go to the Encore, check in early at the Encore. However, this was the week leading up to July 4th. Vegas was 95% booked. The only thing that was available, and trust me guys, I tried every property. I even called the El Cortez. They were fully booked. The only properties that had any type of vacancy was these low-end motels way off the strip, and I just did not want to do that. I didn't want to put my family in an area that may have been risky, that I just didn't know where I was. And, you know, the worst that I knew at the Cosmopolitan is always going to be better than the worst I don't know at another location, okay? So, as much as it pained me to put my family through that, we had no choice. We had to stay at the Cosmopolitan, and that was so unfortunate. But I tried. You'll even see in my vlogs going forward that I talk a lot about I'm trying to check out of the Cosmopolitan early because it's just our heads are, we can't deal with it. You know, none of us got any sleep. I know in Vegas sleep is not much of a thing, but for all of you guys who know, we try to keep our sleep schedules pretty normal. Again, we're there with our 2 kids, my mother, and we were on like our family vacation. We wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 6:30 in the morning, and then we go to bed at like 11:30, maybe midnight. You know, like that's kind of our sleep schedule. But when you're up at 4:30 in the morning there with noise and you're laying in bed and you're just like zonked right out, oh, you're like a zombie the next day. So that's exactly how they dealt with our room situation. It was an absolute nightmare. The slots. Now, this is out of a lot of people's power. I can't blame any one of the staff members, and I didn't. But it's still, it was salt in the wound. It's like you're going crazy from your room, you know, like just being up all the time, and you go downstairs to kind of to escape that, and you're playing on slots where you play 10 slot machines before you hit a bonus. And in those 10 slot machines, you're getting eaten bet for bet for bet for bet. Then you do get a bonus, and it's worth $25, or rarely over $50. What you've seen on my channel so far is pretty well going to be the norm. A lot of losses. Bonuses do happen. I put most of the best ones, because those first 2 days were the best. After that, the Cosmopolitan went to shit. I've never seen the slots so bad in my life. This includes my old former local, which is a lot tighter than Vegas standards, you know what I mean? No, this, I'm telling you, I would run $1,000 through before hitting a bonus. And when I got the bonus, like I said, very, very awful. It was nightmarish. I felt like I was in a bad dream. I was like, how can this get any worse? It really can't. And this seemed to be exclusive at the Cosmo. I'd get fed up of playing there. I'd go over I went to Encore, because when I went to see if they could check us in early, I played some slots and I had bonuses. Like I left there up $100. I was like, holy fuck, this is like a miracle. Like I was never so happy to win $100 in my life, because I was getting eaten alive by those unbelievably tight slots over at the Cosmopolitan. And guys, you think it's bad? Wait till you see my channel going forward. There's going to be Las Vegas Journey episodes with 10 slot plays, all losses eaten bet for bet. And again, I honestly believe that the Cosmo deserves the free advertising on that as well. I mean, really? I know you're doing all those renovations upstairs. I know you got to pay for that somehow. There's rumors going around that the Cosmo was bought out by a German company because the stocks were tanking. Like the shares in the Cosmopolitan were tanking, and to the level of, hey, are we going to go bankrupt here? What do? Tighten the slot machines up, get that money. Get that money from all those people that are on the casino floor. And guys, it wasn't just me. I met 30, close to 40 people who viewed my channel, who knew who I was in Vegas. Most of them didn't stay at the Cosmo, but some of them came over to the Cosmo on my recommendation. And when I got back from Vegas, I checked my Spinning in Vegas email address with people who were upset with me because they went there and they got fucking absolutely rickrolled. They lost money so fast. Now, you're always going to lose money in a casino. That's a fact. It's to be expected. But you expect it to happen over the long run. There's usually that 15% loss over a trip, you know what I mean? You put $100 in, you lose it. You put another $100 in, you lose it. You put another $100 in, you lose it. You put another $100 in, you bonus for $150, and then you bonus for $80, and then you lose another $100. Like, you're up and you're down. You're not just on a fucking slip, like lose everything all at once, absolutely quickly like that. Everybody I talked to who played at the Cosmo lost in that fashion. My wife, my mother, all of my friends that I met there, and people that I met who didn't know about my channel in Vegas. I remember sitting next to a girl named Tina, and I was telling her about my experience. I was like, I can't believe how tight these slots are. And she's like, tell me about it. We're from the United Kingdom. We lost $10,000 here in 3 days. I was like, just on slots? She's like, yep, just on slots. She's like, barely getting a bonus, losing money like crazy. She's like, we can't wait to get the fuck out of here and we're never coming back. And she wasn't talking about the Cosmo. She was talking about Las Vegas. So her experience at the Cosmo completely destroyed any future hope of visiting Vegas. She's like, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because, you know, like, it's our third time here. And just like us, our third time there. She's like, we'll never be back. Never, ever, ever be back again. So the Cosmo is not just ruining it for themselves. They're ruining it for the entire city. And I won't let them do that to me. I won't give them that much. There's no way the shitty Cosmopolitan will ever ruin our opinion of that beautiful and amazing city. So yeah, the slots. Oh, you guys will see. Also on this trip, which never happened on a previous trip, I was getting asked for ID when I was ordering non-alcoholic beer. Now, in the morning, you know, I don't like drinking like I'll have real beers at nighttime, you know, afternoon. But when I'm downstairs in the casino at 7 o'clock in the morning, I don't drink real beer. I'll order a beer called Kosthaler, which is a non-alcoholic beer. And in the morning, I go down, what I usually do is I'll go down with a budget. I'll walk down with $400 or $500 and nothing else. That way there, if I lose my money, I don't have my wallet to keep, you know, going. It's just a way to protect myself. And so I'll just go down with my money and nothing else. And I order a drink. Can I have a Kosthaler, please? Well, can I see your ID? And I look at her and say, why would I need ID for a non-alcoholic beverage, you ditz? Like, honestly, and at this point, like, I'm very salty. I never called anyone a ditz, don't get me wrong. But I'm thinking it. And I'm like, no, I don't need ID. Go do your research. Kosthaler's a non-alcoholic drink. She's like, no, sir, we can't serve any beer to anyone under the age of 21. And I'm like, do you want me to pull my ass out for you? Because it's hairier than an ox. I'm fucking 35 years old. I mean, come on. And she's like, no, I need to see the ID. go all the way upstairs, come back down with the ID and show it to her. And then the next day, that same woman asks me for ID again. And I'm like, do you not remember me from yesterday? I argued with you about my age. She's like, no, I see a lot of people, sir. And then I go and I complain to the high limit area, okay, the slot desk. And I'm telling them, you know, I'm tired of this. I'm sick of it. ID for non-alcoholic beverages. And when I complained about it, she's like, the girl that I spoke to was like, just get a different server. She's like, some of them have a bad day. And I'm like, that's not my problem. Perhaps they could be sleeping in a room where there's partying until 4:30 in the morning, or renovations that start at 4:45 in the morning, or having to deal with these tight-ass slots. All right? That's having a bad time. All right? If they're having a bad day and they don't enjoy their job, they should quit and go somewhere else. The money that these fucking women make just from tips alone, you think there'd be a smile on their face. Anyway, that was a big problem during this trip, getting asked for ID on non-alcoholic drinks. Again, something menial, but when you add it up with all these other things, it starts to, you see a real problem here. Wow, 20 minutes in and I'm only halfway through. Okay. This is a heartbreaking one. It was hard for me to discuss this one because it really tears me up. Our itinerary, all of our travel documents, which included our airport itineraries, our insurance, health insurance. See, when we travel to the United States, we have to purchase insurance in case we need a hospital visit and stuff like that. All those documents and a bag of money was stolen from our room. Now, it wasn't a substantial amount of money. It was all the coins that we'd accumulated. So as we spend money in Vegas, we take the coins, we put them in a bag and we save them up. At the end of the trip, I'll go down to the casino cage, I'll get bills, take them back home for the next trip. Because when we come back to Canada, banks do not take, Canadian banks don't take American coins. So if you have $100 worth of American quarters, no bank in Canada will take that coin and give you a $100 American bill. It's just, it costs a lot less to ship bills than it does coins for Canadian banks, so they don't deal in coins. So that's what we do. At the end of the trip, we'll take the coins down to the cage, get bills, take them back to Canada. We may have had roughly $30 in coins in this bag, but what we always, here's the thing, that bag of money was in another bag with those documents. That bag was in another bag with a Ziploc in it, and that bag was inside one of our luggage bags. So a big Samsonite luggage bag with a big Ziploc bag with another bag in that. That means that the girl that came to clean our room, or whoever it was, I shouldn't say girl, it could have been a guy, whoever it was came into the room, decided to open our Samsonite luggage, take out this Ziploc bag, open that bag, then take this other bag, and steal everything out of it. You could have took the money, but you should have left our documents there. I mean, come on, if we were to have gotten sick and needed a hospital visit, we don't know if we would have been covered without our insurance documents. That was all stolen from us. The heartbreaking thing about this story is that we left that person a bottle of maple syrup and a $20 bill as a tip. That was gone too. So, you know, every night, or not every night, but when we require cleaning, someone to come in and clean the room, we always give that bottle of maple syrup, the Canadian maple syrup, and we always leave them a note, you know, we're from Canada and we appreciate the job you do, and here's a taste of our country and you know, a couple of dollars to show our appreciation. So they took the maple syrup and the money, and they also took and stole our stuff out of our bag. Very unfortunate. And when we called to complain about that, when we noticed it, they said that they'd do an investigation and nothing was done. Nothing. And it's funny because every person that cleans the room has to sign their name on a ledger card within the room. There was no signature on that. We noticed that every day. Every time they come in, there was a new card with a name on it, and there was no name. So they made sure not to sign it so nobody can go back and find out who it was. Very unfortunate, and almost to the point of just being heartbreaking. They decided to take our gesture and our tip, but also they stole our stuff. So wow, I can't get over that. You know, they employ thieves, I guess, or at least one of them. One of them's a thief. During previous days, or not the first day, but our second day when we had our kids and my mother We asked for a rolling bed, a cot, and they gave it to us the second time. That second trip, it was not a problem. During this trip, they charged us for that rolling bed, the cot. We'll go more into that later, but I just want to say that they charged us for it without telling us there was going to be a charge. They just brought it up to the room, and then we found out later that they were charging us. I think it was $20 a night or something like that. Other properties include these amenities in the resort fee, but okay, we'll talk about that more in just a moment. Now, Wicked Spoon. I know a few of you are asking me what happened at the Wicked Spoon. On 3 different occasions, they overcharged us at the point of sale. So when we went in, they overcharged us. Now, what happens like with us? We always charge everything to the room. That was a recommendation from our slot host. She said, always charge everything to the room. That way, there we can comp it in the end. If you pay for it up front, we're not going to give you money back. You know, we comp it if you charge it to the room. So we always charge it to the room. 3 separate occasions, they charge us for 1 extra person. Okay, that is substantial. That's a substantial amount of times to fuck up in a 1-week stay. I could say, you know, if it happened once, hey, mistakes happen. You know, we are all human. Mistakes happen. 3 different times they overcharged us. Twice we didn't know. 1 time, which we caught on camera on our 360 camera. So if you go on my channel and you look at the Wicked Spoon and 360 at the point of sale, they screw up. We caught them on it. We're like, yeah, we noticed the bill's kind of high. Why? Oh, sorry, we charge you for an extra person. Oh, we're sorry. Man, damn. 2 other times we didn't notice. And we found out at the end. They still haven't fixed it. We have not been reimbursed for those extra two people that we supposedly fed. Never happened. Another problem that we had at the Wicked Spoon during this trip was upsetting. We were down there, and usually when a host comes over and brings you to your table, they ask you what you want to drink right away, because you don't get anything to drink in the buffet with the exception of a smoothie. It's a fruit smoothie that you can get. So they ask you right away, what would you like to drink? And coffee, orange juice, milk, whatever you want to drink. And it was just me and my wife. My kids and my mother had gotten egg salad earlier that morning. So me and my wife said, we each want an orange juice. It's that simple. It's what we drink in the morning with our breakfast. And she's like, okay, I'll be right back with your orange juice. I said, no problem. So usually when you order your drinks, then you go get your food. By the time you come back, your drinks are there, normally. Or usually you sit down and they're there a minute or 2 later. It's usually very, very quick. So we went and we got our food. We came back and, you know, we're eating, no drinks. You know, 5 minutes pass by, still no drinks. We're like, okay, well, we're going to go get seconds. And usually we go get seconds at the buffet. So we go get seconds, we come back, the drink's still not there. So then I see her walking by and I kind of flag her down and I'm like, hey, we're thirsty. We'd like our orange juice, please. She's like, oh, yes, okay, I'm going to go get it right now. I was like, okay, great. She's like, I got kind of busy back there and just kind of forgot. I'm like, hey, no problem. Just go get it. We're fine. We're good as gold. So we're eating and we decided to stop eating for a bit because we're like, fuck, we want to wait for our drinks. We're thirsty. 10 minutes pass by, nothing, and I'm like, fuck this, I'm finishing my food, and literally I'm down to my last pancake, and I'm eating it, my wife is down to her last couple of bites, and we're getting up to leave, and she runs over, she's like, oh, your orange juice, and I'm like, what the fuck do you want me to do with that now? I said, we're all done. No, I didn't say that, but I'm like, we don't need it, we're done, we're leaving, and I did say it in that manner. I wanted to let her know that, hey, really? Does it take 20 minutes to bring fucking orange juice to the table? We got up and we went, and as we walked out, we noticed the supervisor and we told him, this shouldn't happen. At the price that we pay for this buffet, this shit shouldn't happen. And we made the complaint known, never heard of it again. But anyway, that with the overcharging was very negative on the Wicked Spoon. Black eyeing the Wicked Spoon, that's for sure. Here's another thing that bugged me the most. I lost more money at the Cosmopolitan this trip than the previous 2 trips combined. I lost more at the Cosmopolitan during this trip than I lost at all other locations combined for my last 2 trips and this last trip. I lost enough money, I could have drove a car off the lot, all right? Like, I lost a lot. And My coin in, coin out was no different. I played the same amount as I would any other day that I was there. They did not comp anything, with the exception of my original email offer, which was the free nights, okay? Free resort fee, free nights. They charge us for the fucking cot, all right? I told you we'd be getting back to this, right? They charge us for the cot, $20 a day. Everything that we charged to the room, nothing was comped, all right? So we left there with a $2,250 bill. And I was shocked as shit. My slot host couldn't do nothing. Nobody could do nothing about it. I was ready. I'm telling you, I was never more pissed off in my life. I was like, this is the experience you guys gave us over the last 7 days with all this shit. And I lost more money here than I've ever lost in my entire life of gaming because of your tight slots. And you're telling me nothing's going to be comped? I'm like, I could have flew my family around the world 3 fucking times and you can't comp these meals? I'm like, whoa, something is not adding up. What's going on here? And I couldn't get an answer on anybody. My slot host, making phone calls asking to speak to somebody higher up, nobody could give me an answer. Then I threatened. I got to somebody who was high up and I said, here, look at my YouTube channel, all right? I'm like, look at this video I did of the Cosmopolitan. And he looked at it and he's like, wow, 50,000 people. He's like, geez, that's really nice. And I'm like, I guarantee you the next video is going to get more views, but it's going to be in a negative light. And I'm like, you do not want this. You really do not want this. And he's like, no, we don't. We really do not. We're going to try and work on this. So he's like, I'm going to call the desk. I'm going to talk to them and we're going to get this figured out. So I was like, finally, a little bit of positivity. We're going to get something done here. Oh, please. So we waited maybe about 30 minutes because you got to remember, we were checked out at this point, right? We were checking out. So we had to wait to find out what was going to be done. So we wait and we wait and we wait. And believe me, 30 minutes is a long wait when you're standing up. You got kids who are standing up and they're getting restless. And you know what they did for us? They comped the cot. The $20 fucking a night cot. That's what they did for us. They comped the cot. Oh my God, I was ready to put my hand through a wall. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, you know what? I said, if I stay here any longer, I said, I'm going to be leaving in a police car. We got to go. We have to leave right now. We'll figure this out later. And that's what I did. I didn't want my kids to see me in that light. I never get like that around my kids, and I refuse to. All right? And I just decided, I told my wife, I said, I got to get out of here because, like I said, I'm going to go out in handcuffs. And I don't want the kids to see any of this shit. So we left. The day later, the very next day, is when I started to like write emails and get this rectified. Like, whoa, you guys really fucked up. I went on their Facebook page. I wrote to their customer service. I wrote to the managers. I wrote to the VP of hotel operations. I even wrote to the Blackstone group, the people who I thought owned the fucking building. When they did, but like I said, there's this talks now, company in Germany that bought the Cosmo. Since the day after we checked out, up until yesterday, I've given them that much time to fix things. Nothing has been done. We are yet to receive the 2 overcharges from the Wicked Spoon. We never got a refund for those 2 overcharges. We never got the refund for the cots. All of that is still applied to our bill. We got the bill, which was $2,200 or something like that. Nothing was ever credited from the Cosmo. So even though they said we're going to charge your cot, or we're going to comp your cot for all of those troubles you had, never happened. We still paid for those extra 2 people. I don't know who they were, but I hope they were hungry because I paid for it. And guys, so like I said, this 34 minutes, this was our experience at the Cosmo. Nothing redeeming about this trip whatsoever at the Cosmo. The other places we played in Vegas, that we stayed, fine. Fine. We had negative experiences at the Bellagio. However, customer service quickly rose up and fixed that. I spoke to somebody on the phone a few days ago, and boys, did they ever fix their errors. Oh, I can't wait to get back to Bellagio. That's how people should fix their problem. Especially when it's somebody like us who play a lot in the casino. All right, when you play as much as I do, you want to keep customers like that. That's how you stay in business. But no, the Cosmo did nothing. And I'm going to outline the problems I have with Bellagio in a future video, but I'm also going to let you guys know exactly how they dealt with it and how they didn't just meet my expectations, they exceeded my expectations. So, yeah, that's what you need to do. It's not about the mistakes you make that defines you as a person. It's how you deal with your mistakes. It's how you overcome and learn from your mistakes. But when you choose to make a mistake and disregard it and keep making that mistake and make other mistakes, that's laziness, and it's not compassion. And you have to be compassionate to people. I'm a business owner, and this is how I look at being a business owner. This is how I think about things. This is sort of like my whole philosophy. I work for myself. I'm my own boss, right? No, I'm not. Everybody that comes into my store is my boss. Think of it this way. If you work at McDonald's, or if you work at a Mercedes-Benz dealership, your boss pays you. He writes your paycheck. He gives you money. He is your means to make a living. So when somebody comes into my store and hands me money, that's my boss. He's giving me my paycheck. I treat those customers with utmost respect and care. When somebody leaves my store with a product, I'll follow up with that customer. How was your service? Is there anything else we can do to serve you? What can I do to bring you back as a customer? Do you have any problems? If there's a problem, how can we solve it? How can we go above and beyond your expectations? How can you help us not make those mistakes again? And what can we do to earn your trust and your custom, at a future date? This is how you should treat a customer, because they're your boss. I wrote somebody a check for many thousands of dollars at the Cosmo. I'm their boss. I'm their customer. That's the way I think about things, okay? Without customers, you don't have a business model. You don't have a means to make a living. So you have to treat every single one of them like they're your boss, all right? They're providing your life, your means to make a life. We wouldn't be able to travel to Las Vegas. We wouldn't be able to have the 4 vehicles. We wouldn't be able to bring our kids to all these places if it wasn't for these amazing people who come into my store and trust us enough to hand us their money. I'm so thankful every day, every single day of my life, that I have and I've earned this trust from people. And a lot of my customers who I know on a personal level will say, it's not your business. We trust you as a person. You are your business, and we know your face. And if you were to sell your business and open another business, we'd probably follow you. We'd go over to your new business. And that just means a whole lot to me. It really, really, really does, to know that I've earned, that respect and that trust from people, that I've treated them with enough respect to know that I did a good job and that my staff were trained well enough to do a good job. And to get treated by somebody so badly, and especially when there's so much competition. Where my store is, if there would be 10 stores exactly the same surrounding it, boys, I'd really have my work cut out for me. I'd have to just completely go above and beyond to get those people into the door to spend their money with me and to give them a reason to spend it with me. Vegas is the same. There's casinos at every stop. They're everywhere. There's hotels and casinos everywhere. There's so much competition that you have to go above and beyond. You can't shit on people like you did here. You really can't. And I can say, with the most gratifying sense of everything, I will never go back to the Cosmo. And that puts a smile on my face. Yeah, you fucked me over once. You know that saying, you fool me once, shame on you. Fool me. Well, you're not going to fool me again. Just like George Bush said, George W. Bush. They will not fool me again. They fucked it up so badly, so badly, that, you lost me for good. There's nothing the Cosmopolitan can do at this point. I've given them, wow. We got back, what day, on the 12th? So I'd given them over 2 weeks. Yeah, well over 2 weeks, just to get an email back. And the heartbreaking thing is the last thing that somebody said to me at the Cosmopolitan when I was talking on the phone was exactly what I just said to you. There's lots of competition in Vegas. There's lots of other hotels. Maybe I should take my business elsewhere. That's what I was told the last time I spoke. That's what I was told. Yeah, last time I spoke to somebody at the Cosmo. That if I didn't like it there, that hey, maybe it's time you check out another property. And she did say, like, she said it in a respectful way, but how can that be respectful? How can that be the answer to these problems? How could this be the thing that fixes everything by taking my business elsewhere? I tried to take my business elsewhere on that 4th night at the Cosmo. I tried to get out of there. I couldn't. But I know going forward that I'll never stay there again. Never, ever, ever stay there again. And for all of you who sent me emails who were very angry with me, I did maybe jump to conclusions with the Cosmopolitan and gave them amazing reviews even after my first stay there. A lot of people on my channel said that this was coming. They said, boy, this guy is really, really ignorant, and he really jumped to conclusions on this one. Wait. We're going to wait for this video because it's going to happen. And I got into heated debates with people on my channel who had these problems, and I was like, there's no way that all this happened. There's no way so much can go wrong. They wouldn't treat you like this. I know these people. They're good people. And they were right. And I was wrong. And I'm not afraid to admit that I was wrong. I really was in that little bubble, in my little cosmopolitan cloud up in the sky. And I'm sorry. I don't know how to say sorry enough. To all the people I recommended the Cosmo to who went there and lost money, bet for bet, who had terrible stays. One of them people were high up on a floor, who heard the renovations, who couldn't get any sleep, who were getting eaten alive by the slots and got nothing comped. I'm sorry. I had no idea. It happened to me too. I guess maybe that's a strategy for these casinos. Maybe the first couple times get them to the door, comp everything, and then keep comping until they spend an absurd amount of money and then comp nothing at all. And, you know, maybe we'll make our bottom line, you know, a little healthier and by doing this stuff. I don't know. I have no idea what the strategic plan is behind doing something like this. I could tell you one thing. There's no end game, because if you do this to enough people, you're not going to have any customers in the end. There's no end game there. You're creating, you know, a spike in profits or bottom line, but in the end, just like your 15% gradual loss at a casino, you will also lose. So I'm going to end this video with telling the Cosmo to please stop doing this. Don't do this to anybody else going forward. We're people. You know, we have problems in life. We go through a lot of stuff. Everybody suffers different battles. And when you do this to somebody, you make their life a little tougher. I'm very fortunate that I'm in a position where I was able to recoup the losses. They're already recouped. I mean, they were recouped the moment we lost them. You know, we go to Vegas with an astronomical budget. That's not the point. It's all moral points here. Stealing from the room. I mean, what you were doing to us with the rooms, with the noises and everything, and not doing anything about it. Charging us for stuff that we never got, or charging us for stuff that we didn't know was going to be charged based on previous experiences. And then when we make these problems known, like you do nothing, don't do that to people, all right? Be compassionate and treat people with respect. And I don't know, as a business owner, I would do everything in my power to make up for any mistakes, and I just don't know. I'm lost for words. I really am lost for words. If I would have staff in my store that would treat people like this, oof, they would be out of a job. They would be fired, without question. But thankfully, like I said, I train my staff very well, and I make sure and hire the right people. And wow. Anyway, 45-minute, guys. I hope this one really hit home for you. It probably got a little boring. Felt like I dragged on a little bit. I try not to dwell on this very much. And like I said, I would have did it sooner, but I was trying to give the Cosmo as much time as I could so they could do something. writing emails every day, sometimes twice a day, and getting nothing in response, making phone calls. Oh, I'm going to get this person to call you back. I'm going to get this person to call you back. Oh, she'll call you back at this time. And then finally you reach somebody and they say, well, you know, maybe it's time to bid a friendly goodbye to the Cosmo and try a different property. I'm waving a goodbye, yes, but it's not fucking friendly. Fuck you, Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas. You are a bunch of asshats. You made a complete ass of yourself, and I'm sorry to say it. I really am. Anyway, guys, I will see you in a future more positive video. I'm very sorry you had to see this side of me. If you decide to go to Cosmopolitan in the future, just know that if this happened to me, this can certainly happen to you, okay? Because I spend a lot of money at that place. So just know that, you know, buyer beware, all right? Peace out. Have a great day, folks. I'll see you in the next movie.